Today's day 64. It's the start of week 10. This morning we packed up at the No Business Knob shelter and we only had 6 miles to go to get into Irwin for the day, where we're planning on basically just doing a Nero day and hanging out all day. It's day 64. We did like 36 and change yesterday. Wound up being a huge day. We left Jerry's cabin shelter, had about 10 miles to go to get down to a road, and then someone who I actually have been communicating with on Instagram wanted to come out and do trail magic. So we got there at like 8:30 in the morning. He was already getting set up. We got a bunch of snacks and chocolate milk and other goodies. And then his friend came out and met up with us, and they had a fire going, a cute dog. That was really awesome. And they like work for the North Carolina like mountain club, maintaining the trail and stuff. And the North Carolina section has been maintained really well. Yesterday we got to see like all of the damage from Hurricane Helene. There were sections where an entire side of a mountain, like every single tree was taken down, which was crazy. Like you would go through was like 50 or 60 down trees with one perfect trail cut through all of them. So you weren't climbing up and over anything, but it really made me think about the southbound hikers coming through last year and just what they were navigating through if they wanted to finish. It was absolutely wild. So we did a huge day, went up over tons of climbs, did Big Bald later in the day. It was completely fogged out, windy, cold, descended down off of there. And then we got out to a road. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like 6 miles from the No Business Knob shelter. And right before we got there, Punisher's friend Zach Galifianakis came out, met us with pizza. He had Dr. Pepper. So we had a bunch of food, drink, and stuff at the road. And then we were originally just going to do a 30-mile day, but there was supposed to be tons of rain last night. So we decided to push and do like a 36-mile day so that we could get to the No Business Knob shelter, which we did. And then it rained all night, like midnight until 7 in the morning. So I was so glad that we did that. And then this morning we had 6 miles to go to get down to Uncle Johnny's, which was perfect. That was crazy too, seeing the entire bridge has been wiped out. Like so much of the land and trees alongside the river are completely gone. And then someone from Uncle Johnny's drove us into Irwin because we're just gonna spend the day here today. It's supposed to be like more weather rolling in later on today and throughout the whole night, so it'll just be nice to not be out in the rain and like what actually might wind up being snow as the temperature drops tonight. But driving into Irwin, it was a trip. Like all these houses have been taken out, the whole road had flooded, the highway's finally open, like partial capacity. It's insane amounts of damage, so it's pretty sad to see. It's really crazy. But I'm pretty grateful that people have been coming through, and the trail so far has been really clear. We've heard the North Carolina section is maintained by a different group of like trail maintainers, and they have way more Sawyer saws and like resources. So the Tennessee portion might not be as well maintained. From being in Tennessee today, there were some trees to climb over and some stuff that hasn't been finished yet. So it'll be interesting going north, seeing like how much you have to navigate around. But somewhere north of Damascus is probably when like most of the hurricane damage will be done on the trail. And we're gonna be in Damascus in probably like 5 days. So that'll be cool. But for today, I just went to the grocery store, got tons of stuff to eat today and resupply to like try to just push to Damascus. But at least there's a bunch of hostels and stuff in between here and there if we do have to stop off. But just gonna be chilling today, editing and hanging out all day. It's Erwin. Well, honestly, it's like... It's day 65. This morning we got a bit of a late start, but we got a ride back to Uncle Johnny's around maybe 11 o'clock. And then we had to do the road walk around there because the bridge is out, but it wasn't too bad. It's about 3 miles to get around. And then we just started going north from there. Last night, one of the reasons we wanted to stay in town is because it was supposed to rain and snow a lot over the night. And then when we woke up this morning, it was still snowing, and it continued until about noon. So we were walking in about an inch or so, and at higher elevation, it was even around maybe 2 or 3 inches at times, and sometimes even a little bit more. So that definitely slowed us down a whole lot. Plus, we wound up getting into some sections with a lot of blowdowns. When we got up around Iron Mountain, that's when the blowdowns were definitely their worst. There were sections where it was completely cleared, and then there were a whole lot of places where you had to go up and around the trail, climb over large logs, and then once you got to Iron Mountain Gap, which is a road crossing, you actually had to stay on a dirt road for a while because the trail hasn't been cleared at all. So the combination of all the snow and all the blowdowns definitely slowed us down, but we still wound up doing a really big mile day. It is day 66. Yesterday, even with our late start, we still managed to do about 30 miles in the snow and with all the blowdowns. So we slept in a little bit this morning and didn't leave the Clyde Smith shelter until about 7 in the morning. So not the best start, but that's okay. It was super cold, and our day started by heading up towards Roan Mountain. It took maybe like 8 or so miles to get up there. And I was shocked that up towards the top, there was even more snow and there was tons of ice. That probably slowed us down the most. We had to go up and around the ice on the side of the trail just so we wouldn't fall. And then when you got up towards the top of the next couple of mountains, in some places there was as much as like 4 or 5 inches of powdery snow. You say people? Later on in the day, we crossed out of North Carolina and officially into Tennessee, and then we headed down to the road so we could go get some early dinner at Station 19E. We got a quick hitch down with a guy, got lunch there, filled our water bottles, and then got back on the trail around 5:20 to get about 8 more miles in. There. Perfect camp spot. Day 66, end of the day. We did 33 and a half miles today. We started at the Clyde Smith shelter this morning, freezing cold. It was, everything froze last night. Then we headed out of there. We had to go up Roan Mountain, tons of climbing, tons of snow. The trail up near Roan Mountain had a ridiculous amount of blowdowns and lots of ice. We did 25 miles, got to Station 19E, which was awesome. We got a ride down super quick. Those guys are amazing there. Crazy Wolf was there. I met him in 2023. We got there like 4. We were there till a little after 5. Got a ride back to trail. And then we did another 8 miles to the Mountaineer shelter. So 33 and a half miles, maybe like 76 something, 100 feet of gain. Pretty good day. Gonna hopefully do 25 miles tomorrow and get to boots off. That's nasty. It's the start of day 67. We stayed at the Mountaineer shelter last night, and I was pretty surprised my buddy Ricochet wasn't there. We were hoping on catching him yesterday, but I didn't have service in the evening, so I'm not totally sure where he camped. I'm hoping we didn't go past him, because then we just might not see him this year, but we'll see what happens. I was just assuming he was going to be camped at that shelter. But we got a decently early start today. It was another late night. We got moving around 7. There were still some blowdowns, but as the day went on, there was like pretty much zero snow or anything like that, so it was super easy. And then actually around 11:30, we ran into Ricochet. He had camped right near the shelter. We just didn't see him because he left before us. And then we walked together for the rest of the day. This afternoon was one of my favorite sections of the trail. You go down around Laurel Falls, which is really beautiful. You walk on this like cliff around the river, and it felt pretty cruisy. I mean, we had one last mountain for the day and we got caught in some crazy blowdowns, but then it was all downhill. We did 25 miles by 3:30 to get towards Boots Off, and we just get to all hang out tonight. It's really awesome to see my buddy Ricochet again. Haven't seen him since the PCT in 2022. A little road maintenance. It is day 67, just wrapped up the day. We just got to Boots Off Hostel, 25 miles by 3:30. Not bad. Yesterday we did 33 so that we could do a short day and get here. Actually, Shep, who I met on the Pinhoti Trail, I've seen a bunch of times this year already, he put Punisher and I up in Boots Off for the night. So in the bunkhouse. So cute. This is me, Orange. So just got here hanging out with Ricochet, who I hiked with on the PCT in 2022, and we are gonna go to the store, but it's getting late. I'm gonna shower, get situated, and I have a bunch of editing and stuff to do for the night, but we're just gonna eat a bunch of food as always, hang out and relax. It'd be like almost like a little half day, and it was actually a pretty chill day elevation wise, a lot less than we've been doing recently. And we had one last climb, like there's a 3-mile climb before you drop into the road where Boots Off is, but it was actually pretty chill. We did accidentally though go through an area where it was flagged off indicating you should go up to the left of the trail because of blowdowns, and I just kind of assumed that maybe there had been changes to the trail, so we didn't do that and we followed the red line. And it was insane, and I actually got to imagine what it would have been like to hike southbound in 2025, because an entire field of trees was down. We had to climb up, over, and in between them, but we pulled it off. It took a lot of extra time and felt really silly, and we should have just followed the flags, but whatever, you live and you learn, and it was an experience. Now we're here at Boots Off, just gonna have a really nice chill night at Boots Off Hostel. So cute. I love that everything's color coordinated. I'm Orange. Amazing place. Today's day 68. This morning it was pretty hard to leave Boots Off. I was, in the early stages of denial where I was like, maybe we can figure out a way to slack pack and do something so we can come back. It was just so comfortable and just such an amazing environment there. They're so sweet. But we just wound up leaving around like 9:30 and decided to just take all our stuff and keep going because it's going to be harder to coordinate if we did a slack pack or something. So we said goodbye to Ricochet, who's sadly getting off trail. His injury is just way too bad for him to continue. And then you walk around Watauga Lake and you go up across the dam. And from there we began a good little climb, went on for about 5 or 6 miles. And then we had some warnings from people at Boots Off that we were about to get to a section with insanely bad blowdowns. the end of day 68. This morning we slept in at Boots Off Hostel for a little bit. Woke up at 7, but there was a time change last night, so it was actually like 6. So tired. Got up, had breakfast there, said goodbye to Ricochet. It's a bummer. He's getting off trail. He was doing the calendar year Triple Crown. He started in like end of January, but has this like huge wound on his foot. Had to take a month off, let it heal, but it just didn't. He wasn't able to hike with it. So he's getting off trail. Maybe he'll do another trail later in the year, but it's gonna take probably 2 months or something for the wound to heal. It's just like huge on his foot. Left Boots Off around 9 o'clock in the morning. They were amazing there. Such an awesome place. And then we had like a pretty chill 4 or 5 miles around Watauga Lake. You go up towards the dam and then you climb up. And then we hit a section, maybe once you get up to the shelter at the top of that climb, it was like 4 miles of tons of blowdowns. The first 2 miles, it was just like smaller things to navigate around, which was pretty easy. And then you hit like a field with hundreds of trees down, and we're climbing up and over and in between, and it was crazy. And then if you were trying to go around the trees, there was like briars and thickets and stuff, so my legs got all scratched up, got some bruises, but still kind of made pretty decent time through there. We were thinking about going 30 miles, but that probably took an extra 30 minutes to an hour just to do all that. So we wound up taking a break at a shelter for lunch, and then we were going to go to the closer shelter for the night, which was like 24 and change. And an hour before we got here, we hit a road crossing, and there was a lady named Emoji there set up, and she did trail magic for us. Had like yoo-hoo and candy and chips and fruit and all kinds of stuff. So we got like a pre-dinner dinner, and then we just got to the shelter 6:30. Because of the time change, it's still light out, so pretty sweet. And we are only 18 miles from Damascus, so we're gonna get into Virginia tomorrow, which is pretty exciting. Today's day 69. We woke up in the Double Spring shelter and got walking around 6:30 a.m. and we only had 18 miles to go to Damascus. The trail was really nice too. After, this last week we dealt with a lot of snow and a lot of blowdowns. So to just be walking on pretty much entirely cleared trail that was flat with no snow was incredible. About 3.5 miles before Damascus, we officially crossed out of Tennessee and into Virginia, our 6th state of the year. Trail Town, USA. Outfitter open? Today's day 69. We did 18 miles today by noon, which was awesome. Crossed into Virginia, next state down, out of Tennessee now, and we just got to the Broken Fiddle Hostel, which is awesome. We're the only ones here so far. We'll see what happens as the day goes on. It's like bunks. This place is really cool. There's like a big living room area, laundry, showers, like an outdoor kind of living room area. The only time I was ever here was for trail days in 2024. So we're gonna stay tonight, hang out, resupply. As of right now, the box I had sent here is in limbo. It got delivered on Thursday. There's like another residence that it gets delivered to. Fingers crossed that like the person there just like brought it inside on Thursday and has held on to it for the last few days. because I have shoes in there and 7 Mountain House meals, and a couple other things. And my shoes are wrecked right now, huge holes in the back of them. The plastic's kind of poking through and starting to rub on my heels. So I really need new shoes. So we're hoping when the person who lives at that house gets home later, they can check to see if they had brought the box in a few days ago. So we'll see. That's a bit of a bummer, but I'm just hoping it's not over yet. I'm not sure what else I would do because I have like all my shoes are at home. I have like 6 pairs at home. So it doesn't really make any sense to buy a pair of shoes. And like everything in Damascus is closed pretty much besides the subway and like 1 or 2 restaurants just because of everything from the hurricane. So it's not like I could get new shoes here. And we're gonna be in the next town with an outfitter in 2 days, basically. So we'll see what happens, but for now we're just hanging all day. We're doing laundry. I just took a shower, have a bunch of writing and video work to get done. One of Punisher's friends, Will, is doing he's moving across the country on a road trip. He's gonna stop in. He actually put us up here in the hostel for the night. He's gonna come say hi, maybe take us to dinner or something. So I'm just gonna hang out, chill for the rest of the day. Later on in the day, I actually went to check the post office and my box had accidentally been held there. So I got all my goodies and then we just spent the rest of the day eating a ridiculous amount of food. Butterscotch, 25 cents. Large banana split, 45 cents. It's day 70. We were gonna hike out this morning and woke up at the Broken Fiddle at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock. And I was so tired, just feeling lazy. And then I did the math the other day. If we want to finish at the end of May up near Katahdin, which is around the time that Katahdin opens every year, sometimes it opens middle of May, if weather's not too bad, which would be awesome, but most of the time it's towards the end of May or start of June. Right now we only have to average 21 miles a day to get to Katahdin at the end of May, which is crazy. So we're zeroing today at the Broken Fiddle. I just want to chill, catch up on sleep, get some work done, and there's just kind of no reason not to. So it's like 11 o'clock now. We've just been lounging all morning. And another reason we were like, we should maybe stay is because last night Punisher's friend Will came by. He brought like 3 large pizzas. We'd already eaten dinner. I still ate a few pieces, but we basically have 2 giant pizzas left over. It's like, we should probably just hang out for the day and eat all this food. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just lounging, just went to the gas station to get chocolate milk and Gatorade and stuff. And we're just gonna chill and do nothing today, eat all this food. Hopefully I'll get some video stuff done. I have some stuff coming out with a couple different companies, and yeah, we're just gonna do nothing all day, and I'm pretty excited about it. We haven't zeroed since Dahlonega, even though we did do a 6-mile day at the start of this week, so it's kind of like a zero, but I mean, we're doing 30 miles pretty much every day unless we're doing like a Nero like we did yesterday into town, doing 18 miles. So to average 21, that's pretty crazy. So we might as well just take the day, enjoy it, and relax all day. Never open that I've ever seen. It says closed on the door. Damascus Loop Trail. Alright, it's the end of week 10 and we took an impromptu 0 day today, and our week actually started with like a 6-mile day, so basically a Nero. But we did pretty well the rest of the week, 30, 33 and a half. couple 25s just because we stayed at Boots Off, but it's been nice like stopping into the places that I want to stay at along this journey. And like I said earlier, I mean, we only have to average 21 miles a day to get to Katahdin pretty much before it opens. So if we keep up the 30s most of the time, we can afford to do these shorter days, and it's probably going to be good for us in the long run. But end of week 10, I think this was the shortest week we've done because we practically did 2 zeros by doing a 6 mile day and a 0 today. 136 and change, which is crazy. I mean, last week we did a couple short days and we did 180 miles, but we didn't take a 0. And we're at 1816. So 1,816 miles for the year on day 70 it is today. So that's pretty sweet. And I mean, we just walked from Amicalola Falls to Damascus in 21 days. And the first day we got to Amicalola Falls, we did 20 miles before we got there. So we're doing this thing. It's going really well so far. Yeah, and I'm excited. We're heading into the Grayson Highlands. That's going to be the start of this next week, so that'll be pretty sweet. Wanna watch a movie on like the real TV?